All right, I'm going to show you how we're going to make our About Me posters in Google Slides. So the first thing you want to do is click on the assignment. And the description is going to pop up over here. If you scroll down, you can see the whole rubric. So I'm going to keep scrolling all the way down. And so read over the rubric and the requirements. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click on My Document. I'm going to give this time to load because what this is doing is it's creating a copy in my Google Drive. So then I'm going to click over here and I'm going to open up a new tab. So I don't want you working in that little tiny window there. I do want you to open this up in your Google Drive. I'm going to go to Google Drive. It might pull up over here in your quick access, but most of the time it's pulling up in your shared with me. And I'm going to click on this. So you'll see the directions are on this page, and I'm going to insert the video right here. And on the second page, this is where you're going to be working. Make sure that you're using this template here. And on the third page, this is where you're going to have your peer grade you. So you're going to self-grade yourself. And again, make sure that you're reading through the rubric and you're incorporating all of this stuff, and then you're going to have a peer grade you. All right, so I'm actually going to show you how we're going to design this. So I'm going to pull up my example here. So this is my example. So what I want to see is I do want to see your name nice and big. I want to see you using the rule of fate. And remember, we're using the rule of thirds when we're looking at our pictures and we're cropping them. So the first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to switch back over here, is we're going to work from the background to the foreground. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go up here to shape, and I'm going to choose a square. And what I'm doing is I'm clicking and I'm dragging, and I'm thinking about that rule of fate, and I'm simply going to create a square right here using the rule of fate. So this is my 70%. And over here is going to be my 30%. So to change the color of this square here, I'm going to click on Fill Color, and I'm going to choose a color over here. Remember, I want you to think of your color choices. And that's a little dark, so I'm going to go a little bit lighter. So I'm going to choose this as my fill color. So now I need another color for over here. So I'm going to go back into shapes. I'm going to choose a square. And I'm going to draw a square filling in this space over here. And again, to change the color of this, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to click on that paint bucket, and I'm going to change that to dark purple. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to put my name in here nice and big. So I'm going to show you how I put this in here. Remember, your design doesn't necessarily have to look like mine. If you want to lay this out differently, definitely feel free to lay this out differently. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to Insert to Shapes. And the shape that I used for my example is I used this flowchart document one. It's kind of a squared off wavy shape. So I used this shape, and what I did was I changed the color of this. And I just made it a little bit more of a darker orange. I can also change this outline on here. So I know you can't really see it, so I'm going to make this 4 pixels. I'm actually going to change this up to 16 just so that you can see what I'm doing here. To change the color of this border on here, I want to make this purple to go along with my theme. So I can simply click on this pencil here, and then I can change the color of that border there. All right, so now I'm going to go to Insert to Word Art, and I'm going to type in Miss Samuels, and I'm going to click Enter. I'm going to resize this so that I know it'll fit in this box up here because this is where I want my name. Again, you can lay yours out completely different if you want. And for my name, I'm going to change the fill color, so I'm clicking back on that bucket, and I'm going to choose this color. I can also change the outline on here, so I'm going to change the outline color to a nice light orange. Actually, let's change this to a gray color so that it pops out just a little bit more. And let's say I want to make my name nice and bold. So I can make it bold. I can also change the font type. So if you want to go in here and you want to change the font type, just make sure that it's legible. Make sure that I can read it. Make sure it's something that stands out. So this one is a really nice, fun design. I'm not really liking the weight around here, so I'm just going to change the weight of my outline. And I'm actually going to change the color. I'm just going to make it black for right now. All right, and I'm going to change the weight of this one. I'm just going to change this back to 4 pixels just so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to show you was how to insert these down here. So you can see I have some information about me as a goalie. So I'm going to take this information, and what I want to do is I want to put that information in here. So I'm going to go to shape, and I'm going to go to shapes right here. And the shape that I used for this one, it's this paper that's rolled up. Again, you can choose any one that you want, but you'll notice if you double click in this box, you're able to type in this box. And let me correct my grammar here. There you go. All right. And if you want to change the color of this, you can click on this paint bucket up here, and you can change the color of those boxes. So again, this is something that I'm really looking for, is I'm really looking for you to have information. Remember, you're selling yourself, you're selling your stats to somebody, so really thinking about what information that you need for that. So I'm gonna just copy these 3 boxes. I'm gonna cheat a little bit here, and I'm gonna bring those over in here into my demonstration just so that you can see what those look like. You need at least 1 box or 1 piece of information on here. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I brought in this picture here. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can insert pictures. So I'm going to go to Insert to Image, and I'm going to go to Upload. I'm going to choose a picture to upload, and I'm going to choose Voodoo Goalie right here. All right, so you can see this takes up the entire picture, the entire slide, so I'm going to make that a little bit smaller, and I'm going to resize this. Now here's the important part. Remember, we talked about the rule of phi, so I have my rule of phi in my poster, but this is where the rule of thirds is going to come into play. So I'm going to double click on my picture, and I'm going to crop my picture, and I'm really going to think about the rule of thirds and what information is the most important in this picture. So I like that I'm holding up this trophy. Maybe I don't necessarily need to see the entire trophy, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to line my eyes up so that it's falling on one of those focal points there. So I'm just going to bring this out a little bit, and I'm going to click enter. All right, so again, if you double click on this, you can crop. I am looking for the rule of thirds to be used here, so making sure that the eyes fall on the focal point. And then I'm going to center this. So what's nice about Google Slides is that red line there is it's telling me that it's centered over here in this box that I created. Something else cool that you can do with images if you want to get fancy is if you click on border weight, you can add a border to this. So if you wanted to add a border color, you can. I'll show you what it looks like in red. Again, you want to stick with your color theme, so whatever color theme that you have, make sure that you're sticking with that color theme. All right, so I'm going to show you another way that you can insert images. So I'm going to go up to Insert to Image, and I'm going to insert from my Google Drive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my images. Okay, so I have my images right here. So I can insert some of these images. I do have to insert them one at a time. Again, you want to resize them. If you need to, you can crop them. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to insert these images. Again, Insert to Image, and it automatically picks up in my last place. So I'm just going to insert those images. All right, so now I'm going to show you how I inserted these this other box over here. So if I go to if I go to shapes, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a shape over here, and this is just a simple box. And again, if I double click in here, I'm able to type in here. So you can really use any of these shapes. So there's a lot of different shapes. There's callouts, there's equations. Can't really type in the equations, but you can type in the callouts and you can type in the shapes. So if you want to use those, you can absolutely use those. All right, so now how are we going to create repetition? So you can see I created repetition in here by duplicating these shapes. So I'm going to go up to shape, and what I'm going to do, and you can choose any shapes that you want, but I'm going to choose, let's see, I'm going to choose this star right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make one star over here. I'm going to get it to the color that I want to make the shape, and again, I can choose the outline color. So if I want the outline color on here, I can choose that, and I'm going to hit Command C and then Command V, and I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way down. So all I'm hitting is Command V, and I'm going to put those into place, and I'm going to do the same thing. If I once I have these lined up, I can do a cheat, and if I highlight all 4 of those, I can hit Command C and V, and I can line those up. All right, and the last thing that I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how you can insert pictures from clip art. So imagine that those are all in line there. So you can insert 2 clip art images if you want. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to go to Insert to Image, and I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to go to Search, and I'm going to say goalie, hockey goalie mask. And I'm going to choose one of these. And I can resize this, and I can place this on my design. So the thing about clip art is you really don't want to use that much clip art. You want to avoid it if you can. I know some instances you may need to put that in your artwork, especially if you're talking about baseball or something like that. You might want to put clip art in there. But let me just show you another thing that I figured out. If I go to my shapes over here, I was actually able to make a hockey puck using one of these shapes. So a hockey puck's pretty easy to make, and then all I had to do was change the color to black, and that's how I made my hockey puck. So again, make sure that you're reviewing all of these expectations in here. Make sure that you're grading yourself. So once I'm all finished, I want to, you don't really have to worry about the block and date on the artwork, so we can delete that. You don't necessarily need that in there. And I'll take that out of your rubric as well. So you just need your name in here, and just make sure that you're going down and you're reading the rubric requirements, because the requirements have changed since I posted this video. And make sure that you're grading yourself. Make sure a peer grades you. And then what you want to do is you're going to go over into Schoology. If your assignment doesn't copy over here for some reason, you can go over here and you can simply copy this slide. And I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to hit paste. And you can see all I did was copy that slide and paste it into here. Make sure that you do the same thing over here for the peer grading, because that is worth 5 points. And then you're going to scroll up and you're going to click Submit Assignment. And I'm going to say yes, submit. All right, and you're all finished.